Google Jamboard is a great interactive app. There is a physical interactive whiteboard called the Google Jamboard, but you don't need it to use the powerful features of this app. There's three main ways to use the app. Number one, on an iPad. Number two, on a PC at jamboard.google.com, or on a Chromebook either through the web or through the Google Play Store on a touchscreen Chromebook that supports Android apps. To use the Google Play app version on a touchscreen Chromebook, launch the Google Play Store, find the Jamboard app, and click Install. After it downloads, you can launch the app. Students could also access it on their smartphones, but it's a bit small for that. So again, if you Google Jamboard, you'll get a ton of results with the $5,000 piece of hardware. Ignore that. We care about the free app that lives in the iTunes Store, and the Google Play Store, or the web. So you launch the app, and immediately you're taken to what really kind of looks like Google Classroom, but really it's your Jamboard canvas. So you can see here that I have several jams that I am either the owner of or that I am a collaborator on. So you'll notice down here at the bottom, you see Bonnie or you see Anne. That means I'm a collaborator on that. Same here with Angie's face, I'm a collaborator on that, but then I own this one for High School I3, okay? So if you want to get back into this, you simply tap and launch and you go right into your jam. But I want to talk about how to start a new one. So down here on the bottom right of the screen is a plus sign. So when you tap it, you can join a jam. So if somebody has given you a jam link, you can join that, or you can just do a new jam, which is what we're going to do now. All right, it starts it immediately, and you have a blank canvas. So over here on the left, you'll see marker and pen options. Okay, I can choose to use this marker, or I can use different style pen, or I can do text. Okay, so I'm going to choose that one, and then I'm going to tap on the paint palette here, and you can choose your color there. Okay, so at this point, I'm free to annotate and write and collaborate here on the canvas. Also, you'll notice on the left that there is a sticky. So when I tap the sticky with a T on it, you can drop in sticky notes. Yay. Okay. So at that point, you can just drag it around and align it. If you don't want it anymore, you can drop it on the trash can. Okay. So when you tap the plus sign on the left here, you get even more. So you can pull in documents from your Google Drive. Okay, so if you collaborate on this, you can put a document in and have students read it and then respond to it there. You can also do a web clip. Okay, so if you're searching for, say, formative assessment, it brings up a Google search. You can actually navigate into, say, this image, and then I clip it, and I can decide what part of it that I want to see. Okay, and then I can enter it, and it drops that image right into my jam. Okay. You could also just insert and search for an image as well, and not do a whole website. Here are your emojis. They're built in. Just super cool. Kids are going to love that. So you can, oops. There we go. And then, of course, you can just use your camera there. If you want to use a second page, okay, up here at the top where you see your arrows, when you tap the right arrow, then you get a whole new page within the same jam. Okay? How do you share this? When you tapped on the three dots in the corner, like I just did, you can add people directly. So if you do that, you need to know their email address. So in the case of your students, you would need to know that email address from Skyward. Another option is to share via a jam code, which is almost like Google Classroom. So right now it's turned off. I can access it to anyone that has the code can edit it, and it'll change it, and then that is the code that you could give your students. So you could say copy and paste that into Google Classroom, and then your students just open up Jamboard and enter in that code, and then they're automatically collaborators. There's two other things that I want to demonstrate about Jamboard, so I'm going to go to the second page here. If you tap on your pen icon right here, and then you select this A and the plus button here, it will recognize your handwriting and translate it to text. So if I write, it can tell that I wrote Jamboard. So that could be really good for a teacher who's writing directions for students on a collaborative jam, or students that are annotating and maybe their handwriting is hard to read. One other thing, if you tap back on your A text button, down at the bottom here, if you tap on the auto draw, you can doodle, and auto draw will try to match what you draw. So if you want the student to say draw a square, it will ask you, did you mean a square? Well, apparently that was not a good square. There we go. So did you mean a square? Yes. Okay. Same if I draw a circle. Those are kind of hard to make like perfect. So you can make a perfect circle. And at this point you can, tap and hold, and you can move the circle around. You should also be able to duplicate. Yeah, so if I tap the duplicate button, you can then have another circle. Your kids could do this on iPads or Chromebooks tomorrow. While I am modeling on an iPad, this looks identical on the Touch Chromebook. Okay, so there's three takeaways that I just wanted to bring out real quick. Number one, Jamboard is like Google Drawings, but much more. Where Google Drawing is not touch-friendly, Jamboard is. While Jamboard is touch-based, you could use your mouse for most functions if you're on the web version. So think of Google Drawings as a poster board and Jamboard as a tactile drawing plus integrating content such as images from the web. All right, number two, second takeaway. Multiple pages within a jam. This could lend itself very well to classroom collaboration. For example, you could start a jam, share the link to it through Google Classroom with your students, and then assign jam pages to certain groups of students. Which brings me to number three takeaway. I'm a huge social studies nerd, so imagine your class is studying Andrew Jackson, for example. You could divide subtopics about your unit amongst the class. So you could say, Group 1, you're on the 1824 election. Group 2, you're on Jackson's Native American policy, etc. As you move through the unit, kids keep adding and creating things on their jam for the topic. This would be great if you get a new student. They could catch up in like a nice visual way. So then at the end of the unit, you could do a gallery walk. Since Jamboard is collaborative, you and the students could give each other feedback, maybe with emojis for fun. So check it out and try it out with your students and fellow teachers.